So Ryan, my son, my only son, we grew up in a suburban, kind of a traditional neighborhood. He was an average kid, very happy-go-lucky, very compassionate and caring. He spent 10 years in the Navy SEALs, saw 4 hard combat tours, 2 in Iraq, 2 in Afghanistan. He was trained as a combat medic. He was also trained as a sniper and a breacher, and he was good at all 3. I would characterize, his total time of service as nonstop activity. We started seeing signs that were incompatible with his character, that were much different than the son that we saw enter the Navy. He stopped smiling, started complaining about, challenges with sleep. He became more short-fused. He, at times, would, withdraw and kind of go to his own place. Very uncharacteristic. He said, "Look, if anything ever happens to me, I want, my body donated for traumatic brain injury." Well, in the morning of April 23rd, it was a beautiful Sunday morning. We had been away the previous night. We came back to our home, and we found Ryan in the basement, and he had taken his life. And he had illuminated a shadow box that I had made for him the previous Christmas that had all his medals and ribbons and insignias from being in the teams. We got a call from a courageous woman, a wife of another SEAL who had taken his life about a year before. And she alerted us to a research effort that was underway at the Center for Neuroscience and Regenerative Medicine, who, in a very professional way, made arrangements for us to be able to donate Ryan's brain tissue. And, we turned our attention to satisfy his wish.
The Department of Defense has tasked us with getting to the bottom of this problem, and they've provided us with the resources and the wherewithal in order to study military traumatic brain injury. We've found that there are significant changes in the brain that we see in individuals who've been exposed to blasts that seem to be unique, not seen in the typical impact injuries that one sees in civilians or in automobile accidents or in contact sports, things like that. We're trying to understand the nature of the problem, and that's towards finding better ways to treat it, to prevent it, to diagnose it. This is an extremely important problem. The numbers of individuals affected is quite large. The individuals themselves are undergoing very serious changes in their life and in terms of their functioning that has completely disrupted both their personal life, their family life, their ability to serve in the military, and to be able to address a problem like that and to provide some answers is really very gratifying, and why we come to work each day. When I started doing this work, we really didn't know very much about what the nature of this problem was. Basically, we found that there are significant changes in the brain that we see in individuals who've been exposed to blasts that seem to be unique, not seen in the typical impact injuries that one sees in civilians. These are different, and it relates to the fact that the blast produces a wave of energy that passes through the brain that's rather unique and produces, we believe, a unique form of damage. With this new knowledge that we have, it opens up a whole new field in terms of research and areas of study, new approaches to both diagnosis, particularly treatment, and prevention. And to be involved in something like that is really very gratifying. Our repository is will accept specimens from anyone who has served in the military in any capacity. It's really the only way we can begin to get at this problem, by actually examining the brain of individuals who both suffered from this problem as well as those who've been free of it. By and large, the family approaches us. Now, this can occur while the individual, the service member, is still alive, or a retired service member who decides, I want to help in this research work. I recognize that this is important. On the other hand, there are occasions when individuals will die having not signed up for donation, and there the family, the next of kin, can reach out to us and say, we want to donate the brain to this research, and then we carry out whatever is needed in terms of making that happen. Our donations are what we call de-identified, so that whenever we report results or talk about individual cases, it's always a de-identified situation. There have been a few situations in which we do talk about the individuals, but this has been with complete understanding and consent of the family. It's interesting in talking to the families who have donated, one of the things they repeatedly say is that they not only feel that this has helped in terms of closure, in terms of dealing with the death of the loved one, but also the recognition and that their loved ones through this donation are still serving their country.
One of the reasons why I'm doing this video, and I wanted to share Ryan's experience, is Ryan was all about his boys, and he's continuing to help his boys. I think a lot of the reason that we're seeing folks interested in donating is because of the love of their teammates. The knowledge that we gained about our son and what he had been struggling with as far as the level of brain injury that he had lifted a burden off our hearts. And I don't know where we would be right now if that had not happened.
For additional information about our program or to learn more about donation, visit www.researchbraininjury.org or call us at 855-366-8824.